Okay, looking at famous markets today, nothing really in the US. I believe they're just trying to stabilize itself. Let's go through and have a quick look. Um, Earlier today, yeah, it's flat. So you can see it's pretty much flat. There was actually a gap today. Don't know whether from the opening, from the futures price. So from what I can see, pretty much a higher high, creating a new higher low, will create a new higher low, and then a new higher high sometime. But if we look at the weekly chart right here, boom. So a little bit of they run out of steam a little bit, but definitely creating new highs. The question is next week, either a continuation further to break the high for this week, or we will see definitely that or the new pivot point as a new higher high, then higher low before new higher high. Right? It's still far away in terms of the bigger time frame, but the month is just too strong. But anything can happen. For the next pretty much 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks of trading. But so far, definitely the bulls are still currently in control. So really nothing to report for the daily, just pretty flat right there. Dollar index. So if you can see through here on the weekly of the dollar index, we have new lower low. Still pretty much bears are still currently in control. You can tell it's running out of steam. There's a little bit more probably slight probability to go through here about 82.25 just to settle a little bit. Let's have a quick look from top to bottom. What's the high, low, 50. That's the low. Oops. 50%. Okay, from that point of view, approximately probably will head towards around here depending on what they want to do. But because of the lower low, still some more room around that 82.12, pretty much around this area. So still pretty much medium term, still bearish with the dollar index, but just being careful now since, well, we have a new period through there. But the question is, can they break through that new low? If they do, then definitely that area of demand around these levels and to fill in as well the gap. But if they don't want to break that low, then everything will pretty much change. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much with the dollar index. Looking at the markets very quickly, I know Europe finished pretty much on a mixed bag. At one point, actually, they were down. They were in a negative territory, and they ended up on a positive territory right there. Asia had mixed ones. The Nikkei down almost close to 1.5%, 0.5% with the S&P, and 0.08, just pretty much about 0.1% with the Hang Seng. And here, though, notice, oh yeah, that's where the gap happens. So yeah, there was a report earlier. And we can see there, currently just sliding, coming back up. 15.550 was through yesterday's close. SPX quickly. It's only the S&P that's currently pretty much in the green. Let me magnify that. Alright, we have an inside day, 3 months, but you can see definitely they broke through. And in terms of the NDX, yeah, they're pretty strong. So this nice big gap through there, and I think that was AMD. Pretty much dropped it. No, I don't know if Apple tanked as well. Okay, so Apple is one of them. Okay, look at the volatility index. Wow, actually, I kind of find it interesting how the volatility is huge. Look at 6% and reaching pretty much only the 12. Wow. I mean, still correlated, but not as much. that should be around the 1700 by now. Interesting. So I don't know why they didn't want to do that. All right. Looking at, crude oil was on its highest. Very strong. More than $100, pretty much a barrel. Weekly, still very strong. Next price to beat is that high here, 110.56, February 2012. They'll be pushing that, and the monthly is really, really strong. And as far as I'm concerned, they will beat that price. And the question is, can they beat that 114.81? Okay, now if they continue to go further the same, what's happening is pretty much 2007, even on the big drop. This is where crude oil went to the upside. I remember this actually through the Bush election, and then when he lost, damn it, this came back. But it's reaching a level of supply, an area of supply between 110 and 114, so a $4 difference in price. Longer term bullish, medium term bullish, likewise for shorter terms also very bullish. So I think the Canadian can still go further. Gold as well. Gold's trying to head back from the double bottom through there. Question would be, can they push it all the way to $113 or $1,300 an ounce? My point of view, this is just a short-term correction since pretty much it's currently been battered to the downside, but I'm still very, very bearish with gold. Weekly is showing something different. In my own personal opinion, they're just correcting itself probably after where 1337, and then bam, continuation pretty much to the downside still. Alright, that's it for the macro fundamental of things. Let's go through in terms of trades. I took some profits out actually last night. A really good price. It was almost actually before I went to bed, and then 5 hours later, a few hours later, this is where actually came. So 1.7 almost took. Had another profit about at 81. So like a 10 pip difference in terms of the bid and the ask as well. 789. Yeah, that's at about 12 pips before everything got taken. But talking in terms of one perspective, still pretty much I've got still about more than half of the positions left. I'm still gonna hold it. I think this is the first time after 1, 2, 3 weeks where they're trying to decide where the price of the kiwi is going to go. There's more room in order for this to head back around the 80, 60, around this level. So I'm still holding the position. Actually, I'm thinking of buying a little bit more today. Okay, monthly, I know it's way too far yet. No, at the end of the month, as far as I'm concerned, it can happen as well. They can push the price back all the way back down to 77, or they will finish on the based on bullish engulfing and can have a little bit more room in order for this to head back up around that 81, or back to the 82. So from this point, we're still on an uptrend. So, there's also some opportunity over 2014 back to 88 if it chooses to. So long term, still pretty much bullish. Medium term, bullish. Daily, still pretty much hovering around and creating new highs this time, and it's just a little bit slowly heading back. So if that high didn't want to break that high today, then I'll be closing all positions and then buy back in at a much better price. But because I create a new high, if it creates a little bit more high low, then bam. So I'm just gonna wait with these longer shadows up here. If I buy Sunday, there might be a better opportunity. Actually no, this 1 hour is getting to the oversold, so there's some good opportunity actually back to 88, another 50 pips. So in a few hours actually. Yeah, it would be a much better price of hopping in. Okay, cool. All right, that's it pretty much. M2 Weekly, nothing. But in terms of that, nice divergence. At the same time, there's more room in order for that to head back up. No setups. Daily, no setups either. And then we have weekly, first time above the 8 of the 10. After how many, pretty much months? Since May, June, July, actually 2 months being below the 8 of the 10. Finally, it came back up. So next week, there's another potential entry point to head back on a longer term or medium term trading. So no setups on the weekly. Daily still within the criteria. No change. Okay. Euro. Let's get it to Aussie, since through there, actually hop back in the Aussie again. There's some good potential as well with Aussie. It's not as strong as the Kiwi, but in terms of a new pivotal point, some probability can go back to 94, 95 from this point of view. I would have preferred if the high would have broken that high, but being an inside day, still pretty much an uncertainty aspect. They just have to create a decision later on to break through the supply level. So if we go to a daily chart based on the supply back to the equilibrium, I believe there's more room in order for this to head towards there. Higher high, higher low, still lower high here, but the next one's about the 94, 90, yeah, about this point. So if I can make another 92, 200 pips to the upside, then pretty much that's good money, right? Right, M2, nothing. They're just trying to stabilize, no setups. We have a weekly too, but on the weekly, just really looking good. Okay, but there are no setups. Part of that. M3 weekly touched the 8 earlier today. I mean this week. So like I said, it's not as strong as the Kiwi, but there's a potential that currently there's going to be a breakout of the 8 and the 10 as well. They have to follow at one point in time. Daily chart, same. They have an entry a few days ago. Much better price actually, filling the gap. Second time, first time, second time. Probability to head back over there is highly probable. So, hence fairly bullish on that. We had the dollar Swiss yesterday based on M2. So let me go through and have a quick look based on that. So this is now part of the correction. I'm going to leave the trade for now. However, it's not, let's see here. So the weekly is still pretty much on a bearish area, also on a downtrend from here to here. Question is, can I go through there? So I'm going to give it one more shot, one more day. If it doesn't want to perform next week, then I'm going to basically hop out. Because this one wasn't as strong. If it was close around here, then even better. But because it's just met the criteria, yeah, I'm gonna wait for just one more day just to hold this, and then basically if it doesn't want to play, then I'll be hopping out before even chooses to take the stop. All right, weekly. So M1, there is none, but from a lower low, a lower high. Question is, can you create a new lower low? My feeling there is, but there's also a probability that it could rebound. So we'll see on the way how it performs by Sunday and Monday. All right, M3. So on the M3 perspective, there is nothing. It's going below the 8 or 10. So we're going to basically the exit will be next. Actually, there is none. It's still pretty much from here. So if it was short on that side, so actually there's no setups. Daily, it's just hugging pretty much. They fill in that. So the question would be, can it come back all the way down? Could be. So we'll see. Right, that's on the dollar Swiss. I think they're pretty much sure that's all. Okay, going through the euro against the dollar. So from class yesterday nighttime, so we've seen this sort of stabilization, also very bullish still anyway with that, and noticing how we have pretty much a higher low. So our next part of the series is to beat that 132.07, 60 add something pips. Then if so, they will keep on continuing. If it breaks through the 62 by next week, easy. That's going to go all the way to 34. M2, yep, overbought though on the daily, but on the weekly it's just pretty much an equilibrium 50-50. So there's a lot more room in order for this to head back up, and then they're going to choose whether they will continue to break the high or create a new low to continue pretty much the trend. Right, M3 weekly. Ooh, hang on, that's the thing. Close 3068. Oh yeah, okay. Changes everything based on an M3 methodology to above. So based on the weekly, got an M3 long. Okay. Daily chart still within the criteria, so no change. Part of that. Pound against the dollar. I closed my position last night. So going through on the weekly, it's really strong still. The bulls are currently in control. I closed it based on actually all the level of supply, and I'm waiting for another entry point to go in on the daily chart. And the reason why I'm gonna wait in because it's back to the level of supply and 50%. If it comes back down to the 38, if it can come back another, even just 50 or even 100 pips. So we're higher high, waiting for a higher low, and then bam. Since most of the entries actually are all already on a equilibrium area, hence closing. So actually it's a pretty good trade as well with this. It's going to create for higher low, and if it does, then bam, I'm going to continue. Since weekly is still pretty strong, there's a little bit more room in order for it to hit around the 60% from what we discussed last night, approximately about 62 on where they can go. So if it could drop as a form of retracement, then easy can make another 200 pips as well to the upside as well. So it's pretty cool. That's a good one. M2, no setups, but it's just the beginning, and because of the volatility, there's a little bit more room. Knowing the pound anyway, they will give up another week in terms of buying, then choosing whether they could drop further or not. Right, daily, no setups. Look on the method 3. Method 3, there's also this here that I'm currently not convinced, but because of the bulls are currently strong at the moment, there could be another potential breakout of the 8 or the 10. How far it will go? Can it go after 2 weeks by the end of the month, beginning of August? If so, then yes, they can continue to all the way either to break that high or retest that high. But if it doesn't want to play, then bam, heading back. So it may just be hugging the 8 to 10 at the moment. So based on a daily perspective, though, it is still within the criteria. 2 strong bars, and then after, from a higher high, higher low, 4 sort of almost indecision type of bars. Not as strong. So I need to see this might have another big boost. Right, that's the pound against the dollar. Look at the dollar Swiss, dollar CAD. Weekly. I'm still also very bearish to the dollar CAD. There's more room in order for these to head back down. Let me have a quick look. Actually, yeah, so still very bearish. Daily, just hovering around. I reckon there's more room in order for that to head back to the downside. M2, no setups on the daily, likewise for the weekly, more room in order for that to head back. Weekly chart, it's just hugging there. So after 3 weeks from 106 all the way to 103, finally actually filled the gap. So that's pretty neat. Daily chart, nice. Okay, yes, downside. So it's still within criteria. Dollar against the yen. This also nice actually. Weekly, back to the long position. Still pretty much in an uptrend. I know it's an inside day. It's also an uncertainty still, but we have the pivoting point. So the question is, can they break out through there? Probability is more than likely. Now they might retest through here back to 102 and see how it's just going through here, but later one point in time they have to retest down there too. So my plan for this one next month, if that high won't be broken, we can have another, then basically a bunch of lower highs, then easy. They will drop that down to the Alright, based on the weekly as well, part of the inside day, so they need to retest, but there's that pivoting point through there. You have 2 pivot points, but in the trend, still pretty strong, so actually need to see a clear breakout before either heading towards the upside, but I need to see a clear one as well. If they don't want to play, actually that will change my viewpoint, yeah. Need that to break through here in order for it to go back to 104, but if it doesn't want to, yeah, they might retest this low. Okay. I'm going to take some notes. Okie dokes. Alright, M2, no setup. Daily, no setup. Yeah, there's none. Okay. M3, weekly, still within that. Oh, so there's no setup. Interesting. Okay, daily. Back to the buying area. Alright. Okie dokie. Buyback. Heading back to the upside. Euro, yen, weekly. Definitely this plays a different role. 133.78, 200 pips. Can it break that? Absolutely. Believe there's more room for that. Stabilization, continuation. If, however, they don't want to break through there, then back to selling. Right, but there's definitely a potential to make close to 200 pips. Are pretty neat. M2 weekly. Yeah, there's some more room. Nice, still beautiful and uptrend. Likewise for the daily chart. So daily chart trying to stabilize. Right, slight correction before continuation. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Right. M3 still within criteria. Weekly. Awesome. Close 79.7. Oh, it's below it. 981, 29.79. Off by 4 pips. Okay, so the first time there was no entry on the weekly. Daily, still within the criteria. Pound yen. Beautiful. Alright, clear breakout. Yes, same here. Back to 156. More of a 300 something pips or beyond. Retest that high. If they want to retest that high, then back to the selling. Right, so pound yen is actually way too powerful. Okay, JPY. So Now it's still part of the alert from yesterday. Still hold weekly, really nice. Daily, trying to stabilize itself, create a new higher high. We're gonna have a new low, 151. If we come back down a little bit, then even better. M2, there is no setup, a potential setup though, so our target point has been currently reached from that high. Right, sweet. 53.05. Right, M3, nice. Okay, from yesterday, there was that long position based on an M1 perspective. Okay, they can fill that the gap through here too, and it's so even better. Then next one, 54, and like I said, 56. Alrighty, nice. It's still pretty much long on that. Look at dollar Swiss, euro Swiss. Okay, M1 based on the weekly. I reckon I'm bullish, more bullish actually with this. If they don't want to break that low, it'd be interesting next week, 123.26, and buy back to the drawing board. So we're back to buying here. Back to the level of demand. There's nothing, pretty much an uncertainty. Daily chart M2, no setup. Likewise for the weekly, no setup. So it's still nothing on that. M3, there is also nothing, no setups. Daily chart, also no setup. Just filling the blanks and coming back down. So they have to retest somewhere sometime. So it's not ready, but yeah, next will be probably ready. Pan against the Swiss weekly. Let's go. Actually, I don't want to do that. Weekly, trying to stabilize. Can it create a new higher low next week? Then if it's so, then even better. So looking at dailies, lower low, currently lower high. I need to see a higher low before I want to answer. So it's not ready yet, but by next week, I believe there's going to be some opportunity. M2, you can tell way over sold at demand based on daily, no setups. Likewise for, that was the weekly, sorry, nothing for the daily. On the other hand, on the weekly chart, they might hug back in or to fill in pretty much the gap. But on the daily chart, you have a potential GBP Swiss to go long based on M3. Awesome. Okay, the awesome trading this week. Actually, I really made good money too this week. Next week will be probably another good week of trading. Any questions for me? None.
No questions, Ray. Thanks.
No worries. Then we'll see you guys on Monday.
Okay,
Have a good weekend. Yep. See you later.
Okay.
Bye.